Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am just a regular dude walking in the Word. I am glad that you've joined us. We are actually reading through the book of Matthew right now, and we are starting chapter 12 today. Today, the title is, How Should We Treat the Sabbath? We're going to be actually dealing with the Sabbath for the next 2 days, okay? How should we deal with the Sabbath? Good question. So Jesus actually addresses that because it comes up, okay? And people are constantly trying to trap him. And the people at that time, the religious leaders, were very legalistic about stuff. And you might think, oh, that's, back then they were all legalistic. Well, no, people today are very legalistic about stuff, especially when it comes to things regarding the Sabbath. Now, you might be one that believes the Sabbath is Saturday. I believe it's on Sunday. But, with that issue, it doesn't matter. We're all going to heaven, whether you believe it's on Saturday or Sunday. That's not an issue that should divide us in regard to salvation. But as far as, being legalistic and stuff about the Sabbath, that's where we can be divided, okay? Let me read here today. I'm reading today from Matthew 12, so if you have your Bibles like I do, Matthew 12, verses 1 through 8. It says this: At that time, Jesus went through the grain fields on the Sabbath, and his disciples were hungry and began to pick some heads of grain and eat them. When the Pharisees saw them, he said to them, "Look, your disciples are doing what is unlawful on the Sabbath." Okay? So what was happening here was they would go through, and it was lawful. The farmers weren't supposed to pick all the grain, and so the poor could come through and they could walk through anytime they wanted to, but they weren't supposed to get bushels and bushels of grain, just enough for them to eat. Okay, at that time. So the disciples came through and they grabbed some grain, and then they would you take it in your hand like this and get the chaff away from it, and then you'd eat that grain, okay? And so that's what they were doing, okay? But the Pharisees were like, "You're doing this to the grain, that's work." And they're having a cow about that. Let's keep reading. He answered, "Haven't you read what David did when he and his companions were hungry? He entered the house of God, and he and his companions ate the consecrated bread, which was not lawful for them to do, but only the priest. Or haven't you read the law that the priests on the Sabbath day in the temple desecrate the Sabbath and yet are innocent? I tell you that something greater than the temple is here. If you had not known what these words mean, 'I desire mercy, not sacrifice,' you would not have condemned the innocent, for the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath." He was talking back then about David, and that story, you might have forgotten. David and his men they're running away from Saul, and so as they're running away from Saul, they come into the tabernacle area. Okay, it wasn't a temple yet, but they come into the tabernacle, and they're like, "Oh, we're starving, we're dying for food. Do you have any food we can eat?" They ask the priest that, and the priest says, "All I have is the consecrated bread, which is, technically for the priest to eat." He said, "You're welcome to have that." And so they ate that. And it's like, if a guy is starving, are you going to go, "Oh no, you can't have that bread"? And it says, "I desire mercy, not sacrifice." So if someone's starving, the priest was like, "If you're starving, you can have that bread." Okay. So God desires the mercy, not us living up all these legal laws and everything. So that's something to keep in mind. When we're observing the Sabbath, God has given us the day of rest. And so keep that in mind. The Sabbath was given for man. Man wasn't created to honor the Sabbath. Okay, we get that backwards many times. But God created the Sabbath to give us rest. And so in that day of rest that we have, we should take that day and use it as God has intended for a day of rest, okay? Don't try and do a bunch of work on that day. But like the disciples, they were just getting some food, okay? So don't think, "Oh no, I can't eat on the Sabbath because I have to cook, fry some eggs or whatever." No, you can do that. Just, don't make it a business of frying eggs for the whole world on that day. So anyway, that's we're going to continue talking about the Sabbath tomorrow, but that's just a little bit insight there for you. And always remember this as you're thinking about the Sabbath. God created the Sabbath for you, okay, to give you rest. And so just remember that. Thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue talking about the Sabbath here in chapter 12 of Matthew. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.